Welcome to our Facebook event, Let's Talk Money, Honey, Navigating Finances Together. We're going to have a conversation tonight about talking money with your partner, why it's important, how you might do that. We're going to get some real life examples on how to do that. But yes, welcome. My name is Nikki. I am the Director of Communications and Advancement here at Prosperity Connection, and I am joined by Robin and Richard. If you two wouldn't mind taking a moment to introduce yourselves.
You want to go first or second? Well, my name is Richard Warner. I am a broker in the St. Louis, St. Charles area. I started my brokerage with my wife, Monthly Birds Realty, I believe last year, 2021, and so far we're loving it.
That's awesome.
My name is Robin Warner. I am a real estate agent, and I've been married to Richard for 10 years and in a relationship with him for 15 years. And so, yeah, I mean, a little bit about ourselves is we just love helping people. Any type of knowledge that we get or anything we can share with others to help them, we'll be glad to do so.
Yeah, we are honestly open books. So if you want to know anything, I promise you we'll tell you. We'll tell you pretty much anything. If we know it, we'll let you know.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so much. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with your personal story or your personal money management philosophy, style, whatever you want to call it. How do you two navigate finances together?
Sorry. Okay, so with us, we starting at the beginning when we were just dating, we pretty much just had our own accounts. We really didn't know what each other was doing with our own accounts. We were, I don't want to say young because there are some smart young people, but we were young and just thinking in our heads, hey, if we want something, we make the money to go get it. So let's do it. So we got our apartment, we bought cars. We weren't really wise with how we were spending our money. She didn't really know what I was doing with my money, and I really didn't know what she was doing with hers. And then it all came to like a halt when we were like, hey, she was like, hey, did you pay this bill? I'm like, oh, no, I thought you paid it. And then, so we really didn't know what each other was doing during the time. And then we had our daughter. So we had our daughter, and then that's when our funds had to kind of start getting merged together. Like, okay, we have another life to take care of. So how much money do you have in your account? How much do I have in my account? And it wasn't really adding up our income at the time. So, and then even knowing all that, we decided to still make unwise choices because we're young, we see the world, we see what everybody's going out to buy. So we go and buy a Charger. So really nice car, but even though our credit and our income said that we can afford it, but looking back at it now, our budget said that we could not afford it because
reality was a whole different story.
Yeah. So our budget, our reality said no, but in our minds, hey, we can afford that car. And then funny thing is, when we're going out and buying the larger purchases, we don't really look at the additional costs. Everything just came crashing. So when all that happened, we decided to get a joint account.
Okay.
So now we have our joint account, and the funny thing is, the joint account didn't work for us either. Like, what is going on? So
hey, mistakes are learning, right?
Yeah. So now we're in the process of learning why a joint account doesn't work because with the joint account, we both were inside the account and didn't really know about what the other spending habits were. It didn't work for us because we both kept dabbling into the joint account without pretty much acknowledging each other or letting the other person know, like, hey, I'm taking this out, hey, I'm paying this bill. And it was a big learning experience. We're trying to figure out how we're going to budget. We're trying to figure out how we're going to manage our funds and everything. So we decided to get separate accounts again. So but this time we had separate accounts. Now how we're set up is I have my account, she has her account, and she take care of the savings account because she's saving me. But now when we have separate accounts, we split it where most of the bills come out of my account. We're fully involved in each other's accounts now, and we just
Yeah.
know, and we have like limits on what
Okay.
each other can spend without letting the other person know. So if she spends say $200, she's like, "Hey, Rich, should I get this?" And then we'll discuss it. Say, "Hey,
Nice.
do you really need that?" Like mainly the main thing now is, even though we have the separate accounts, it's even if we still have the joint accounts, it's mainly just communicating. So
Nice.
communication
That's awesome.
helps us budget, helps us save, helps us manage finances and everything.
Well, I would say that everything you said, like communicating, talking
Mhm.
about everything. I'm cheaper than $200, so I'll tell you if I'm about to spend $50. Like, Rich, do you think I should spend this money? Or one thing that we do is we make sure we pay our tithes as soon as we get paid.
Okay.
So we
Yep.
pay tithes and then we go from there. Like, what bills do we have? And we also try to stay away from impulse shopping. We pray, we wait, and for things to happen before we just go out and buy things. Things pop up, like for instance, we have a huge giant tree in our front yard that needs to be cut down, $2,000.
Ooh.
So it's like there's been times where we even got an eviction notice, but we were blessed to have a door open for us so that we were able to go somewhere else, and now we own a home. So it's like, no matter,
we've been from like not knowing anything about credit to I was worse than her, but having horrible credit to being to the point where how she said, where we bought a home, and now we're teaching credit classes. Like when
That's awesome.
whenever we do the understanding credit, I have so many examples, because when I tell you I kind of went through everything with
Yeah.
credit, repos, the charger that I told you I wasn't
Mhm.
ready. So repo and the charger, eviction notices, to the point where we were able to build that credit back up, start getting stuff wiped off of our credit, and honestly start budgeting on everything.
for instance, it's been so many good things that's happened where we paid off other cars and just have been able to, like go on vacations and all types of things, and not stressed out about it. And
Good.
it's like, just because we started off one spot doesn't mean
Yes.
we'll
That's
end.
exactly what I was gonna say. One of our favorite things to say here, or one of our favorite like myths to bust, is we feel like so many people think that whatever their financial situation is right now is their financial situation forever. And that is absolutely not how it has to be. And I think you guys have unintentionally given a wonderful testimony of that fact, and that there is so much learning and growing and changing that can happen, which I think is so cool. And I think also, like, in your one story, you have like encapsulated so many different money management options for couples. And I would just like to say to everyone out there, completely separate accounts may not work for everyone. Completely joint accounts may not work for everyone. Like, you have to find what works for you. And I love your journey that you've tested and tried multiple different things to find what fits for y'all the best. That's so cool. Let's talk about a little bit more specifics around some options for people. So right now, it sounds like y'all have landed on separate accounts, but with a lot of communication. But even within that, within separate accounts, there's a lot of different ways that you could choose to split expenses with a partner. Can you walk us through some ideas you have for how you might do that?
I would say do whatever works best for you, such as if it's 50-50, where that
Mhm.
you bring 50% to the table and the other person brings 50% to the table. Do that. If they don't have their 50%, don't.
You're a team. You're a team. It's a partnership. So
Yeah.
And I would also say, the person, for instance, if the person makes more money
Mhm.
than the other one, person. The person who makes the more money can possibly cover the mortgage and more
Yeah.
bills, and the other person can pay the
The
smaller.
groceries,
Yeah, so do it like proportionally, like I bring home 70% of the income, therefore I'm gonna cover 70% of the bills. I bring home 30% of the income, I'm gonna cover 30% of the bills. That, I mean, I think I've coached a couple people that do that. They have completely separate accounts for their own fund money for the shoes and whatnot. And then they have one joint account where they contribute that percentage. And then that's where like all the bills come out of.
fully, I consider her money my money. So wherever she get paid, hey, we got paid.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so my money is her money. So it's the same way
Okay.
around. But I'm better on my phone and like setting up the payments and everything, and I can just
Gotcha.
go to my phone and pretty much just get to all the accounts easy, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
But how she said, it's whatever works for you. So that works for us. And then we
Yep.
also have what is it? Most banks have it now, Zelle, where we can just
Yeah.
transfer money really easy between each other, and that
Okay.
helps us out a bunch. Say if I need to send something to savings, we'll just Zelle it over to her, and then that it makes it so much easier. And Zelle is no fees. There's no fees
Yeah.
associated with it. So
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got totally separate, and you each manage your own bills and flex spending and whatnot. We've got somewhat separate with a joint account where you can decide how you split expenses. And then y'all are separate. Maybe one person could be all of the maybe what am I looking for? Like set bills, like all the recurring bills, and maybe someone covers all the flex stuff, like the groceries or the gas. Again, we keep saying this, but like we cannot emphasize enough, like whatever works for you. The biggest thing is that you have to communicate. How do we navigate these conversations? So we've got some ideas for how we might split finances and how we might manage finances together. How do we talk about it with each other? What are some topics? Let me back up. I don't want to ask too many questions. First question, what are some topics financially you think partners should absolutely talk about before making any financial decisions together?
figure out what you want to save for, figure out what you want to budget for. So say if you want to if you need a car, so figure out, hey, we need to put a car in our budget. If you're
Okay.
planning, your goals are to travel or to stay close. It depends. It kind of depends on where you are in your relationship also. Because if
Yeah.
so when you decide to budget with each other, so I'm assuming everyone's becoming serious.
Yes.
So so figure out what your serious plans are. So are we looking to start a family? We have to start budgeting for that because kids are very
100%. Oh, yes.
are we looking to buy a house? No one determines what your budget is but you and what you want to budget for. So if you want to budget for a house, if you want to start budgeting for vacations, if you want to start budgeting for rainy day fund.
Yeah.
So if one of you is having troubles at work and you are assuming that, hey, I might be leaving this job soon, just having that savings account just to back you up.
You're touching so many bases just under the umbrella of goals. I think that's so important, like you said, and it's going to be dependent on wherever you are on the spectrum of your relationship. But I'm with you. I'm going to assume if you're talking about money, it's fairly serious. Yeah, goals, hugely, hugely important because if your goal is to buy a home, that dictates a whole lot of things that you need to figure out and work on together, from down payment to making sure your credit is good. I mean, I know that longevity of employment, like being somewhere for a longer period of time, is better for a mortgage loan than like, you know, moving from job. So there's just so many factors to talk about. So goals, absolutely. What else would you guys say?
Credit. It's honestly, when you're in a relationship, it's a legit conversation. Like you don't know what your partner's credit score is, you have to, that can become something you have to start budgeting for, because
Yeah.
we really didn't know about credit, but then when we started establishing credit, it was starting to go the negative way. And because we didn't really talk about it with one another, we had to have that conversation. Hey, we need to pay this. If not, it's going to be on my credit forever.
I'm going to take a quick second to do a shameless plug. If you're out there and you're like, well, Richard, I don't even know what my credit score is, or I don't even know what my credit situation is. Prosperity Connection is here to help. We have credit report reviews to get you started. In whatever video clip this is down in the comments, I will plug a link for that. That would be a great first step. So thanks for that segue, Richard. Robin, what would you add?
I would say, I think before you start the conversation with the person, you have to decide what's important to you. What do you believe? Like, and
talk to yourself first.
Yes, because if you believe that paying your bills on time or whatever you believe, you have to stand on that and see what that other person believes. If they believe something that makes sense to you, then you can get on one accord with them. But if you don't, if they believe something that doesn't make sense to you, like this is how, and you see how their life is, financial stresses and things like that. Not saying that that's something to deter you from that person, but if you believe, okay, well, we can get through this together, then continue on. But if you're like feeling like a type of way about that person, that's when you're like, okay, that's when I would pray about it and decide from there, like, if this is something I should continue on. The truth is when you do further your relationship, a lot of those person's personal financial problems, you inherit those.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yep. And sometimes their trauma becomes your trauma. Their fears become your fears, or their situation kind of creates new fears or apprehension within you. I mean, I think that's so smart, Robin. I mean, we hear stats all the time, just first of all about, and I know this is very niche, but like divorce rates are sky high. And amongst divorce rates, I think the top reason is money, is finances, because not enough people are really thinking about what you just said. And I think you're kind of alluding to the idea of values. Like, what are your financial values? Like, what's important to you? And if that's just clashing with this other person, like, it might be really hard, but finances are hard. Being in a relationship is hard. Being in a marriage is hard. And so we just have to sometimes be really honest with ourselves, even if it's hard and even if it hurts, that if our financial values are so vastly different from each other, can we actually make this work? And sometimes the answer might be no. So being honest, I mean, not to be a Debbie Downer, but the reality, just the fears and triggers. I think a lot of people come into relationships with financial trauma, financial fears, things that might trigger them, an emotional response, or so I think maybe having a conversation around that could be helpful too. Like if someone has unfortunately experienced financial abuse in a previous relationship, like I think that's really important to bring to the table, to let your partner know, like, hey, this happened to me. And like, these are the things that might trigger that, I don't know, flight or flight response. And let's try to figure out a way to talk about those things or manage those things, but without like triggering that response. Like, those can be really hard, vulnerable conversations to have, but I think it's important to any relationship, any serious relationship. Like joint purchases, like joint big purchases, like a home or a car. Can you talk a little bit about how you navigated that together? Because that can be really scary. Like, you do this big purchase together, like, how do you even approach that? What kind of conversations did you all have before you were ready to buy the house? Talking about, I think you said earlier, sometimes you have to think specifically about upfront costs, but also like long-term costs.
Yeah.
So did y'all talk about that? Can you give us a little insight into those big purchase conversations?
So big purchases, like thinking about a house. So if we go together for a house, say we can get approved for $500,000, but if we go separate, it can be 250 a piece. Just because we're approved for $500,000 doesn't mean we want to pay a $500,000 mortgage.
Nope.
So we looked at it as, you know what, maybe we should go separate. And then because one of our incomes can, just because if we base the house just on one of our incomes, that means we should be covered on paying for the house.
Yeah.
So that's one good way of looking at purchasing a home. And then with the additional costs, real estate coming up now. So FHA loans, like a lot of the PMI, they tie a lot into the mortgage rate up front. Either private mortgage insurance, you get your actual home insurance, all that is tied into your mortgage up front. So talk to your lender on that, see what your mortgage payments will be ahead of time. But also you have to know that insurance, taxes that can fluctuate each year. So sometimes your taxes go up. It seems like they never go down, but it seems like taxes always go up. So your mortgage can also go up because your taxes or your home insurance can go up also. We kind of knew that going in, so we kind of knew it going in. So we really didn't. We kind of planned for it a little bit, but also with FHA loan, just a little side note, PMI insurance, you can get that knocked off at a later date if you refinance, but just refinance at a lower rate. That's all.
Hey, home buying is one of the most common goals, I feel like, amongst clients. So a little bit of crossover, no one's going to be mad about that. Robin, do you have anything you'd add about big purchase conversations?
We had to come together and agree on why it was important for us.
Values, yes.
And we decided that we wanted to be in a different area. We wanted more space for our kids. And that's why we decided to buy a home. And we decided what we would like in a home. And if it was worth it to move forward. And then it was like, and rent started going up all around. We were like, maybe we should.
We wanted to own.
Yeah.
We kind of just wanted to own.
And those conversations can be intense. So,
but another thing about owning is everything falls on you. Like you don't have that landlord anymore also. So like our situation with the tree, like the tree, a giant branch fell off. It didn't hit the house, but it fell like right in front of the house. So we're like, you know what, it's time for the tree to go. We really didn't know how much tree service costs, so we started taking quotes, and then honestly, it's I guess it's a big
very expensive
out there, and the rates are all over the place. So yeah.
And that can be hard to like think about all those potential costs. 6th tip. But one of my favorite things to do is literally just Google stuff. Like if you are thinking about buying a house together and you're unsure what all of the additional costs are, Google it and then walk through the list together and like talk about how you might navigate those things together. Other shameless plug, Prosperity Connection does also offer a home buying class if home buying is of interest to you. And you can check out our classes on our website. How do you two plan together for those unexpected things that come up? What is your savings philosophy or savings practice together? How would you encourage other couples and partnerships to save together?
How we come up with a plan.
Okay.
So with our plan, what's worked with us a couple of times so far is he'll pay all the bills, and with income that I bring in, I'll just make sure I'm saving it. But at the same time, that means that if I'm just saving everything, we're watching what we're spending. And then we can also just set aside some funds when we get paid as well, so that it's already built up for us, so that we, even if it's not a lot of funds set aside, it's
Yeah.
always good to set aside what you can. When it comes to using credit, we do, like the class says, try to use credit wisely when it comes to a lot of things. Like that way we have something to fall back on when needed.
Yep. And I know conventional wisdom says, have at least 6 months of expenses in a savings account. But I know for the vast majority of people that feels just wildly unattainable. Like that feels like such a far off thing. So what would you encourage folks to start with? Like what should like the first emergency goal look like in your opinion?
I would say it depends on how much you make. How much is your salary? You can do a percentage, or if your salary is low at the time, try to go for at least $300. So you got $300, then okay, the next step can be 500, the next step can be 1,000, and then keep going from there.
Yep, I like that. Baby steps. Awesome. Anything else you'd add about saving together?
I would say she's the better saver than me. Honestly, I would just send her the money and she like, oh, I'll just put that in savings. I'm like, okay, awesome. And a long time I didn't know how much was in the savings account. It was like, yeah, we have this much in savings. I'm really, oh, who knew?
Nice.
But that works for me because like I can see what's in her checking account. I can see what's in my checking account. And if I saw what was in savings, I would pretty much just add that to the rest of our funds. Okay, we have this much money this man. So
Okay.
it's better for me personally not to see
Yep.
what's in savings because I like being surprised. Oh, we got this in savings. Oh, nice. I'll take it.
So play to your strengths as a couple, as a
Yeah.
partnership. If one of you is really, I mean, that it's similar in my marriage. My husband tends to be the little bit more conservative one, excellent at saving, keeping the close eye on that. And I tend to be, I've gotten so much better, especially having worked at Prosperity Connection, really transforming my personal finances, but especially 20-year-old Nikki used to be very impulsive, very free for all with her spending. Much better now, but I still am much more the impulsive one. So we play to our strengths as well. He tends to be the one in charge of making the savings deposits and keeping his eye on that, keeping his eye on our investments and stuff. So don't be afraid to play to your strengths. It's okay. Nobody has to be good at everything.
We all have our own luxuries, right? Like we won't
Yes.
buy what's some of our luxuries? Like we won't buy
cheap toilet paper.
We won't buy cheap toilet paper. We won't buy cheap
bags.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good point that not many people talk about. One of my biggest frustrations with budgeting, just in general, budgeting individually or with a partner, is I feel like so often budgeting experts want to create this like scarcity mindset in people, and that is just not maintainable. Like you can't keep going with that like scarcity mindset. You have to decide those little luxuries and those little joys that are important to you, and that's something that's good to know for yourself. And again, maybe that's one of the maybe amongst all the very serious conversations you have with your partner, maybe throw in the little fun thing like, okay, what are the luxuries that we agree on and we want as a partner?
budget for nights out. Like
Yeah.
we like vacations. Like we we love our little weekend getaways. So we got to make sure that we keep budgeting for that also.
And we do that by trying not to spend money on like a lot of money on like
eating out. We starting to cook at home.
And also like name brand things like that. We do get name brand things, but like extreme, like really expensive name brand things. We pick and choose what we get so we can have extra funds.
And I mean, I think you're kind of getting to another good point. Like have fun with it and give each other grace. Like that's the most important thing. Like we're talking about a lot of really hard topics and a lot of really hard conversations. And I think it's easier said than done, of course, but being just patient with each other and giving each other grace, like communication. We keep talking about that, but then also like being patient and giving each other grace. Like that is, you can't overstate the importance of that, in my opinion.
So we have to go to each other with respect, with
Yes.
and like what you said, with grace, because we're not perfect in our financial situation.
Yep.
We're definitely not
100%.
perfect.
No one is.
And it's learning. It's like we're continually learning on finances. Cause especially having kids, buying a house, cars, you never really know what's gonna go on. Like insurance. So insurance is something that fluctuates also because
Yes.
like with kids, you never know when they're gonna get sick, you never know when you're gonna have to buy prescriptions. And then even with that, you have to make sure you pick the right insurance. So it's kind of like budgeting with everything.
Yeah.
That's another good topic about budgeting also. Like see who has the better insurance at their jobs.
Something that I want to add from having worked with a couple clients is all of this advice, all these conversations that we're having, wonderful, wonderful stuff. And if your partner is open and receptive, that's great. And that's one side of it. But I have worked with individuals where the partner is not receptive at all, not open to changing, not open to those conversations. And again, very sad, but sometimes that is the reality. And so I just want to encourage folks that if that is the situation that you're in, it's not hopeless. Sometimes you just kind of take care of you first, and then sometimes they'll come around and sometimes they won't. But always prioritize taking care of yourself in those situations. That's something that financial coaching can help you with. One last shameless plug. One of our main lines of service here at Prosperity Connection is one-on-one financial coaching. And whether you want to come with a partner, whether you want to come first and then maybe bring the partner into the conversation, or whether you just want to do it all on your own because your partner is not receptive, we can help in any of those situations. So I just want to acknowledge that these are wonderful, wonderful tips, and sometimes it just isn't going to happen and it's just not enough, and that's okay. So take care of you.
I fully agree with what you just said in regards to take care of you. If someone isn't receptive of you building yourself up, your finances up, just do it for yourself. And then if that's your permanent partner forever, they'll eventually come around. But I fully agree. Just take care of you.
Don't value materialistic things beyond what they should have a value over, because money is not everything.
Nope.
It's not everything.
I agree. Just make sure that you focus on what's important. Like yes, sometimes we are in debt, but just focus on getting out of that debt. But make sure you are taking care of you. Don't go overboard on trying to budget. Don't go overboard on trying to pay off $1 million in credit. Baby steps first, and then those baby steps will start leading into bigger accomplishments. So just work at it, and then it will. I promise you, it can get better.
Yeah, money is a tool to achieve the things that we want. It's not the end all be all, to Robin's point. So awesome. Well, thank you both so much. I appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that this was valuable.